Hey everyone, welcome back to the Killer Miller Chicks. I thought I'd bring you along tonight as I am making one of my favorite meals whenever we go out to eat. It is a chicken Philly cheesesteak. So instead of using steak, it is made with chicken. I've never made this at home, but I thought, why not give it a try? It's one of my favorite meals. So that's what we're gonna make tonight. To get us started, I went ahead and I sliced one onion. I sliced it nice and thin. I used my mandolin on the smallest setting. Sliced our onion nice and thin. I cut up 3 peppers because I like the multicolor, but I won't use all those peppers. I'll cook some for a side tonight. And then I sliced our chicken nice and small. I sliced it in thin slices and then cut those slices in half. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get some extra virgin olive oil into my pan. Just like a tablespoon, maybe a little more. And then I'm gonna get it going. I'm gonna put it on medium-high heat. Our pan's nice and hot, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add the chicken and start browning it up. This is 2 chicken breasts. I'm just gonna go ahead and cook my onions and peppers in the same pan. I'm sure we'll all agree, the less dishes you have, the better it is. The less dishes you have to wash, I should say. Might need a little more oil in this pan. Okay, well, our chicken and peppers and onions are cooking in this pan. I'm going to make some sauteed corn in this pan. So I've already put a little extra virgin olive oil in it. I'm gonna turn it on to medium. And I have just 2 cans of plain corn that I've drained out, and I'm gonna dump them in here on top of the extra virgin olive oil. And then I took some of my colorful peppers and I just cut them really small, and so they're just like bite-sized pieces. I'm gonna add that to it. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of onion. I enjoy adding onion and peppers to a lot of my dishes, if you haven't noticed. Those are just a couple of things, I don't know, I feel like they give the dishes more flavor and a lot more color also. I'm not a big fan of raw onion, but I love cooked onion. I'm gonna go ahead and add my seasonings to the fajita mix. I'm gonna use 1 teaspoon of my taco seasoning I made the other day, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna add half a teaspoon of salt and pepper also to the corn mixture. Oops, I got that all over my stove. I think I accidentally referred to this as fajita mix. It's not fajita mix, it's chicken cheese steak. About the same thing as fajita mix, though, if you ask me, onions, peppers, and chicken. My onions and peppers look about done, so I think I'm gonna pull them out, but I'm gonna give the chicken just a little bit longer. I didn't plan on making this meal when I went to the store, but I had bought these deli rolls, and so that's what I'm gonna use. And we don't have any provolone cheese, but I had already bought mozzarella, so we'll put that on top. So I'm just gonna use the deli rolls, a little bit of mayonnaise, some of this chicken, and my favorite part is the onions and peppers. Top that with a little mozzarella. I don't know if it's warm enough. If it's not warm enough and this doesn't melt, I'll pop it in the microwave so it melts real quick. I'm gonna add some of our corn. I'm adding some of the corn with it. And there you go. That is what's for supper tonight. I just wanted to hop on real quick and say that was a really good chicken Philly sandwich. Just as good as when I go to the restaurants that have them. So I definitely recommend that one if you like a sandwich like that. Hi everyone, welcome back to another night of supper. Tonight we're having Campfire Hash, which is a super simple meal that my family loves. Here are the ingredients we'll be using. We're going to use some smoked sausage for our meat. I'm not going to use this whole package, I'll probably just use one of them. We have an onion, 4 potatoes, some cheddar cheese, and a can of corn. To get us started, I'm just going to peel and cut up my potatoes. I like to boil them for a bit before I stick them in the skillet because that just makes the cook time shorter. So I don't even bother washing them until I've peeled them and cut them up. They get so slick once you've got them wet, and it's really hard to peel them, I think. So it's super easy to peel them when they're dirty, and then I just wash them really well. Okay, we have them all peeled. I'm just gonna give them a real quick rinse. All right, I'm just gonna cube these up into the size that we want them for our hash. I just consider it bite size. That's about how big I cut them. I'm just gonna throw them into a pot so they're ready to boil. Okay, we have the potatoes in the pot covered in water, and I'm just gonna go ahead and turn it on high so we can boil them for a little bit. While the potatoes are boiling, I'm gonna go ahead and cut up this onion. I'm just gonna add some extra virgin olive oil to my pot here. And I'll put it on medium and start to soften these onions. This very easily could be a one-pot meal if you didn't want to boil your potatoes first. I just like to speed things up a little bit. Now while our onions are going, I'm gonna go ahead and open our package of smoked sausage. It is still frozen, so I'm gonna see if I can just, oh good, it was soft enough I got one apart. I'm gonna go ahead and do 1.5. Anytime we have smoked sausage, I like the pieces to be really small. I feel like it stretches the meat a little further, and so I always cut them in 4. That way they're nice, bite-sized, and the kids think there's more meat in the meal. Optical illusion. These are still half frozen, which makes it so much easier to cut. My potatoes are nicely boiling, so I'm just going to add a little salt. Just some coarse sea salt. And now my onions are looking pretty translucent, so I'm going to go ahead and add my meat to the pan. And I like my meat to get a little brown. I feel like it has a better flavor if it gets a little brown, so I'm going to cook it in here with the onions until it starts to brown. The potatoes are nice and tender now. I just checked them with a fork and they're pretty tender. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to strain them out. I've turned up our heat on the sausage a little bit to medium-high, so it's starting to brown. So it's coming together pretty quickly. You can see that the sausage is starting to get a little brown. I'm going to go ahead and add our potatoes in. We'll see if it'll all fit in this pan. I might have made too many potatoes for this pan. We might have to switch it out. Now at this rate, I don't think we'll be able to fit the corn in, so I'm going to get out a different pan. I'm switching over to my Dutch oven, so I went ahead and put some extra virgin olive oil in it. Make very carefully pour this in there. Okay, now that we have it all in this larger pan, I'm gonna go ahead and add our corn in because the corn just needs warmed up. So I went ahead and it's just a plain can of whole kernel corn. I went ahead and drained it and I'm gonna dump it in. Mix that up. We like the potatoes to sometimes get a little brown too, so I'm just gonna turn the heat down to medium and I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit. I'll probably stir it every once in a while, but I'm gonna try to get a little brown on the potatoes. I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt. And then I have a cup of cheddar cheese that I'm gonna add to it. I'll just stir that around a little bit. And as soon as the cheese melts, it'll be ready to eat. Oops, if I don't lose all the cheese on the countertop. There you have it. That is what we're having for supper tonight. Thanks for hanging out with me for a couple more recipe ideas. We have some fun stuff we're doing this weekend, so stay tuned and we'll see you next week.